Hey, what's going on, guys? Now, many of you may remember about a year ago when I did my first speed paint video, and for that, I made 9 characters that I put into my own unique story. Now, today, I'm going to be updating those character designs and putting them in a fully made storyline here. And to make this even better, I called upon some of my friends to help me out to make this possible. So, sit back and enjoy the origin of the new Justice League. The team of the new Justice League had formed together, with the 8 members getting along very well, and all of them recognizing each other by this point. However, Anthony, also known as Bat Knight, couldn't help but feel that someone was missing, though he only shared this thought with Felicia, aka Speed Queen. And while the team would spend the next day stopping crime, Anthony spent it searching for their final team member, thinking, I know you're out there, and we're gonna find you before it's too late. That evening, at the city's newest shopping center, we see a group of 5 robbers enter a new store known as Jameson's Jewelry Store, dressed as security guards. We then see a figure with pointy ears and a cape land on the roof and enter into the building. Inside, the robbers deactivate the ringing alarm and begin to take jewels, diamonds, and rubies. However, this sets off a silent alarm. Within the Bat Lab, the secret location where he does most of his work, Bat Knight sees the alarm go off and uses the Bat Bike to go off and see what's going on. Back at the jewelry store, the robbers have at least 5 bags full of cash, jewels, and priceless diamonds when they hear a female voice that seemingly comes from all around.
Oh, every person tries to do the same thing. Isn't that right, Miss Julie?
We hear a cat meow.
Is that the Bat Knight?
Since when is Bat Knight a girl? The robber then points his gun upwards, along with all the others. Show yourself! A young woman then reveals herself by walking out of the shadows in the corner of the store. She wears an orange leotard with black stripes on her legs, sides, and arms, as well as on her orange mask. Her hair flows in a short wave style, and her gloves appear to have claws on them. She also carries with her a whip on her belt. The lead robber then looks very interested. Ooh. And who are you, kitty cat?
I'm just here to do some business, which can include you,
She says as she moves seductively towards him. She leans next to him and begins running her hand from his shoulder to his chest, and knees him right in the lower abdomen, causing the wind to be kicked out of him as he crumbles to the ground.
And don't call me Kitty Cat.
Shoot her!
The group of robbers begin firing their guns at Miss Tiger. She dodges the bullets with nimble grace, using gymnastic flips as she uses the walls to have more areas to leap off of. Outside, Bat Knight arrives and notices the security officer on the ground. He checks their pulse, discovering they're knocked out, but still breathing. However, as he turns the officer over, he notices something that looks like a dart in the shape of a claw in their chest. He gets up and activates his comlink with the other New Justice League members. Bat Knight to New Justice League. I think I may have found something at Jameson's jewelry store. Okay, just wait for backup. There have been some strange things going on in the city. Don't go in alone. Bat Knight deactivates his comlink and walks into the building alone. However, before he enters, Speed Queen, like lightning, runs in front of Bat Knight.
Of course you wouldn't wait.
He walks past her, keeping a stone-cold face.
Man, it's like talking to a wall sometimes. Wait up!
They enter the store and see the 5 robbers, still dressed as security guards, on the ground, unconscious, with claw marks on their arms and faces. They then look up and see Miss Tiger holding a diamond ring over her hand with intrigue, and all 5 bags of jewels and diamonds around her.
Oh, this looks so beautiful. Perhaps I may...
Miss Julie sees the 2 heroes and hisses at them, alerting Miss Tiger.
Hold it right there.
You're under arrest.
Bat Knight and Miss Tiger look at her in confusion. Is that really how you stop crimes? Speed Queen becomes slightly embarrassed, but recomposes herself again. They both look at Miss Tiger, who suddenly realizes what they're thinking.
Well, look, it's not what you think. I'm not here to steal these.
Right, says the person surrounded by unconscious security guards.
Even the guard outside has a claw in his chest. Stand down and you won't be harmed.
Wait, what?
Speed Queen then puts herself in a ready position and runs towards Miss Tiger like a bolt. As she does, Miss Tiger's eyes widen as her mask alerts her, and she smiles. She cartwheels out of the way, and Speed Queen stops, being seconds from ramming Miss Tiger into the wall, looking confused. Bat Knight looks intrigued.
What the? Never underestimate the Tiger Girl.
Speed Queen tries this again, but this time Miss Tiger flips over her.
How do you...
Bat Knight then smiles. Speed Queen tries once more, but this time Miss Tiger steps to the side and holds out her foot, causing Speed Queen to topple over and hit the nearby wall, knocking her out. Miss Tiger then turns towards Bat Knight and gets ready to pounce on him.
Are you ready to battle the tiger, little bat?
But before she can leap towards him, a golden light forms a wall in front of her, blocking her path. Then, 3 other walls form out of that, blocking every which way except up. She looks up to see a young man in a golden outfit and a shiny ring on his right hand.
Seems you need a timeout, little cat.
Bat Knight now looks at his friend with disappointment. They sent you as well, didn't they? Golden Lantern.
I told you, I am the nightmare. That's...
His distraction was just what Miss Tiger needed to escape from his entrapment, kicking him in the face, and he falls to the ground. He then lifts himself up, more mad than anything else.
So that's how you want to play? Okay, kitty cat, let's play.
Sorry, Goldie.
But the name's Miss Tiger.
He uses his ring and traps Miss Tiger in a carrier cage. She looks around and checks the lock on there.
Ha! No use trying to escape. That lock is impenetrable. That's 10 criminals now.
We keeping score?
Not really. Wait, how many have you caught?
15.
Oh, you gotta be!
Miss Tiger used her claws to pick the lock and open the cage. She flips and punches Golden Lantern, knocking him out cold. She then turns to Bat Knight.
Now to deal with...
As she turns, she sees that he's gone.
Hey, where'd you go?
Right here. She quickly turns around and sees him right behind her. She throws a kick at him, but he blocks it using Aikido, moving her momentum away. She makes another attempt, this time sweeping her leg to trip him, but he backs up 1 step. Frustrated, she throws a punch towards his face, but he then grabs her arm and swings her around him, pulling her in close. She then begins to struggle against his grip, but can't break free.
Let me go!
You're not getting away this... He stops, noticing something about Miss Tiger. He stares inquisitively into her eyes, looking at her face for nearly a full minute. He then puts it all together. It can't be. He then uses his grapple gun to fly both Miss Tiger and himself onto the roof. She continues to struggle, and as soon as he knows they're alone, he lets her go. She flies away from him and moves to attack him again.
Look, I don't know what your problem is, freak, but I didn't steal anything. Sure, I was shopping around a bit, but those security guards in there were the actual thieves.
Gabby? She pauses and straightens up, completely confused. Is that you?
I'm sorry, who?
Bat Knight takes off his mask and wig, showing her who he really is. It's me, Anthony.
Anthony?
She hesitates, but takes off her mask and hair extensions, revealing that she has shorter but straighter hair than Miss Tiger.
You're a superhero too?
I didn't know what happened to you. The two embrace and look at each other with great joy. However, right as they let go, they see an explosion that happens at the center of the city. Bat Knight's comlink then beeps and he answers it. Supersmith to Bat Knight. Are you seeing that? Yes. What's going on? Not sure. We got a call saying the city was being attacked. Power Cannon and Animal Girl are down there figuring out what it was, but I lost contact. Don't worry. We'll be there soon. You better. This is becoming a world-level threat. The comlink then shuts off as Bat Knight shakes his head and puts on his mask again. We really need better threat level names. He sees Speed Queen and Golden Lantern go off into the city, finally waking up from being unconscious. He then turns and looks at Miss Tiger. Think you're up to proving yourself a hero?
You're kidding, right? Do you know who's gonna be there? Other heroes. Plus, there's your two friends who fought me and think I'm a criminal.
And I can vouch for you. She thinks about it for a moment, seeing Bat Knight at the edge of the building looking at her. She then puts back on her mask and wig. The two of them use their grapple gun and whip to fly towards the city. In the city, the two arrive on top of a building overlooking a battle between the new Justice League members and a strange being covered in black ink with white lines.
Are those?
The other new Justice League members.
Who are they fighting?
On the ground, Supersmith tries to make another go at the being, but he's hit back, sending him flying into a building. You think you can beat the Shader? Bat Knight and Miss Tiger land behind Shader, staring him down. Fire Blast then lands near them and creates a wall of fire to block Shader. Good to finally have you here, Bat Knight. He notices Miss Tiger. Hey, who's this? This is Miss Tiger, our newest member. Cool. Welcome to the team, madame. He moves in to give her a kiss on the hand when Bat Knight blocks him, giving him a look that makes him change his mind. Right. Join in when you guys are ready. He uses his fire abilities to fly over the firewall as Miss Tiger looks at Bat Knight.
Wow, how do you do that?
Comes with being trained by Batman himself. They then watch as a robotic human lands near them. Bat Knight kneels next to the being, with the latter reverting out of his armored mode, as Bat Knight uses his taser to jumpstart him again. Come on, Power Cannon. We can't lose you already. Power Cannon then wakes up, and is visibly scared and confused. Bat Knight grabs his arm to help steady him. Calm down, Brody. Calm down.
Bat Knight, glad to see you.
What happened?
Apparently, this guy calls himself the Shader. And he's not even human. He was apparently created at the Maryland University and combined with a grad student researcher, becoming this. However, we can't seem to get through to the student inside.
So he's something akin to an AI overtaking a human? Like in those awful 80s sci-fi movies?
Power Cannon looks at Miss Tiger, confused about who she is and how she would know this.
Something like that. But this guy's powers are very similar to that of literal ink.
The three then see a lime green pterodactyl fly over them and Shader, and transform into an elephant, landing on top of the villain. However, this does nothing, as Shader then morphs into pure ink and throws the elephant into a building as she changes into her human form.
Ow!
Ah ha 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 ha! Speed Queen then runs around Shader, creating a whirlwind.
Now, guys!
Sorcerer K flies overhead, and his hands begin to glow. Fire Blast joins him, creating intense fires from the palms of his hands.
Ready, Sorcerer K? By the call from the Lords of Order, we shall end this. Yeah, we shall count two.
Fire Blast creates a tornado of fire, blasting it directly at Shader. Sorcerer K uses a magical light to blast that Shader. However, the villain morphs again and moves out of the way. There's an explosion on the street, but the buildings in the area are unharmed. That won't stop me. You really think you can defeat me? I will! A batarang lands right in front of him, and it explodes in a flash of light. Shader screams in pain, and his black outfit becomes more gray and blue. Miss Tiger then uses her whip to wrap up Shader by his arms and torso, then coming in with a kick, knocking him down. Golden Lantern notices her and puts her in a cage. Bat Knight then stands between the cage and Golden Lantern.
Stand away from her, Bat Knight. She's a criminal.
No, she isn't.
Oh, sure. She just so happened to be holding a priceless diamond ring with security guards laying around her.
None of us know what really happened. Does someone want to explain to me what's going on here?
She broke into Jameson's jewelry store and took out both me and Speed Queen with relative ease. Then she disappeared with Bat Knight, and now he claims she's not a criminal?
She's... Before he can finish, Shader grows nearly 10 feet tall and breaks Miss Tiger's whip. He throws a punch towards them, hitting the middle of the circle, sending them all flying.
What the heck? We just defeated him. How's he still standing?
I am invincible! He moves to strike Bat Knight, but his punch is stopped by Supersmith. Ugh! You're not getting another hit this time. He then flies up and punches Shader right in the face, causing him to hit a building to try and stabilize. Bat Knight then looks at Golden Lantern. Trust her!
Fine.
He deactivates the power of his ring, deconstructing the cage, freeing Miss Tiger. She then jumps into action, scratching the gigantic being's legs, then climbing up his back to stick her claws into the back of his neck. Some of the other heroes look at her in confusion as Shader falls over. Miss Tiger lands after doing a flip, landing on all fours and making a finished gymnastic pose, with the others looking at her in amazement and wonder. She shows off her claws.
More tranquilizers. He should be out for a few hours. Enough time to move him to a secure location. Not my usual claw weapons, but I use them when dealing with thieves.
However, there's still one question for you. You're a hero, but that still doesn't explain the claw I found in the security guard outside of Jameson's jewelry store.
He was knocked out when I got there. I guess several common tranquilizers look like these.
Supersmith then picks up Shader, who has shrunk down to his normal size at this point, with his outfit becoming more red and purple, and takes him away. I'll take him to the police and hope they can find a good place to hold him. I'll meet back up with you guys at the Justice Hall. He flies off as the others look on. Bat Knight places his hand on Miss Tiger's shoulder, and they smile at each other. Good work.
Thanks, Bat Knight.
Sorry to cut in on this nice moment, but we are going to have to discuss what to do with her.
Speed Queen in particular nods in agreement. Later, in the Justice Hall, the new Justice League's base of operation, the 8 heroes are sitting in their respective chairs, with Miss Tiger standing behind an empty place at the table, as images of Miss Tiger at the Jameson's jewelry store from their first encounter shows up on the computer screen. Bat Knight then stands up, addressing the others. Now then, let's call to mind what we're to do about Miss Tiger.
Well, she did a good job against Shader, but I don't know if that makes up for the fact that she fought both me and Speed Queen.
If I may, it was only because she was rather aggressive in her assumption. And she tried to ram into me. I was only defending myself. Regardless, she still was caught holding an item from the store and with what looks like an intent to not return it.
Guys, remember, We can't completely judge a person's actions if there was no clear sign as to what their end goal is. Bat Knight then looks at Miss Tiger with intrigue, and the others follow his gaze.
Miss Tiger, what do you have to say to defend yourself? In my defense, I was only looking through the items they had in the bags. I had no intention of taking them. I was just seeing how it would look.
In light of this, what do you guys think? Should we let her become a member of the new Justice League or not? All those in favor. Bat Knight, Super Smith, Fire Blast, Power Cannon, and Animal Girl stand up. After a moment of scanning her aura with his magic, Sorcerer K stands up too. Speed Queen thinks about it a little longer, but she does stand up. And Golden Lantern, seeing everyone else standing, comes to his own conclusion.
Ah, well. I guess anyone's worth getting a second chance.
He then stands up, and Super Smith extends his hand towards Miss Tiger. Welcome to the team, Miss Tiger.
But this mission just made me realize something. What's that? If something like this, or worse, were to happen again, what are we gonna do? We were barely able to deal with him.
Even Bat Knight thinks about this, when a voice is heard behind him. I think we can help with that. The group of the now founding members of the new Justice League turn around to see 7 new heroes standing ready. The Warrior, Destroyer, Wildhawk, Seasoned Sorcerer, Indivisible, Martian Man, and Aquaboy. Bat Knight smiles as he looks to the other founders. I think we're going to need a membership program. As the sun rises, we see 2 people sitting on the side of a building, overlooking the city. Everybody but Bat Knight and Miss Tiger have taken off to live out their lives as normal people or patrol the city. The 2 are watching the sun rise.
It's so beautiful.
Listen, Anthony, I'm sorry about the trouble from last night.
Don't worry about it. We're all new to the superhero gig. He pauses for a moment. He reaches behind himself. Hey, speaking of which, I got you something. It might not be what you're used to, but it should come in handy. He reveals a new whip for her to use. She takes it and gives him a kiss. He looks at her with shock, blushing a little. She giggles and takes off, with him pausing for a moment before regaining his composure. Guess it's something I have to expect now. And using his grappling gun to take off flying. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. And if you want to see more Speedpaint videos from me, leave a like and leave a comment and tell me what you want me to do a Speedpaint for next. I'm open to just about any ideas. So, with all that said, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.